lighting sucks butthole too. This is really the lighting? Is this real?
This is the lighting.
This is it. This is counterculture.
This is not the lighting.
Yeah. What do you want?
This is not how the lighting is.
You want your kid to come hold like the phone above you?
This is not. Okay.
Do you want a box light shining on you? You're gonna look white.
I look like a fucking idiot in this lighting.
You're right there. It's not the lighting, he says. Oh, I didn't say that.
That was absolutely disgusting.
We're recording right now.
Oh.
You ready?
I don't even know what we're talking
Is
about.
this your first podcast ever?
Yeah.
Is it really?
We'll get you practice for your own podcast.
That's what Bradley said. He's like, it'll just be like practice.
Bring the mic to your face a little bit.
For the.
Yeah, you should be good with that.
I'm pretty fucking loud. You really think a mic
project
can't
your
pick-
voice. Yeah, you don't even need a microphone. So we figured we'd get you on here. You'd be able to promote your own show, your new show that's coming on Counterculture, which is going to be our female show.
The one I haven't shared yet.
Does not share.
I didn't know that I was supposed to share because I haven't been tagged in anything.
It's just a given.
But
I catch it from not my own wife. Now I catch it from other wives that I'm not being a good man
Correct.
because I didn't know ahead of time to share something that I wasn't tagged in.
I'm part of the network. I share your guys' stuff.
Okay, all right. I'll share it from now on. I promise.
Okay.
you need to put a Post-it note.
Yeah, I'll make sure.
You drink your coffee. You share.
JoJo will allow it because it's me.
Okay.
Other women.
That's fine. I just didn't.
Yeah,
I haven't been tagged in anything, so I was like,
So your show's called Unfiltered and Unfazed.
Yes, I'm glad you got it correct. Thank
Nailed
you.
it.
I appreciate that. Nailed it.
Nailed it. If you guys don't know, Heather's my wife. So
it should be interesting here as I stir this fucking pot.
She doesn't. She's a natural born.
Careful.
I think you'll be good at. I think you'll be good at.
What
podcasting.
adjective follows that? Natural born asshole.
The natural born showman. I think she'll do really well. I wouldn't just have you on the network if I didn't think it was going to go well. I wouldn't be able to sell it.
What every husband would say.
Would I be able to sell it to you?
He's like, I can't add any other female podcast.
No, she's definitely not boring. But here's what I noticed: we have like several police wives that become cops or attempted to become cops. I've seen where the husband doesn't have enough balls to tell his wife, "You have no business being a cop." And at my agency, I watched like balls. 2 or 3. No, I know he does. I'm just saying, I've seen husbands that
He's saying that, what if it's like this, where I mean,
a podcast is harmless. You can't get hurt. But you got guys that are so fucking pussy whipped that won't tell their dumb wives, like, you don't belong being a cop. And they let them go through the academy.
And then they cheat on him with another cop.
Or fell FTO miserably. And then all the guys in the agency are scared to give them.
Okay, this is a great topic right now. You're a young female, and you get thrown into the lion's den of quote-unquote alpha males. Do you think that's good for a marriage? Do you think it's healthy for you? Already got one person in that field, but they're not. The guy is not surrounded by 25 chicks that want to fuck him. The chick goes in; she's the only female in briefing, and every dude is naturally like every single dude is like, I want. Even subconsciously, they're like, I want to talk to this girl. I want to, hook up with her. So, do you think that's strenuous on a marriage? When a woman tries to go into a male-dominated environment.
Yeah. I think it's strenuous on a marriage, but if you really look at it, a lot of new female officers are not married. They're young, they're stupid, they're confused, and then all of a sudden they become married later. But if you really look at it, then not a lot of them are married.
I think
they're like 20.
More strenuous if they're both involved in law enforcement. Because
but you can speak on that because
I can speak on it, but just think about it. The guy knows that all his buddies are fucking scumbags, and that they all want to bang every chick that walks in the fucking door.
But can you guys stop saying that and maybe say not all of them because I'm married to a cop?
Not your wife. Your wife's cool.
No, I'm just saying.
That's what they say.
Yeah, and that's what I think. And again, you're right. Not
Thank
all
you.
Men. Okay, not all men.
Can we throw that out there that
I did
not
say
all
that.
cops are?
You have to. I mean, that's just the way I say it. And then I would say, well, not me, but being around. So yeah, I have both angles of it, and I think, and it's tough on this side as well, is because the female has to interact with men by nature. There's there may be 2 or 3 females, and if you happen to be interacting with that one female out of 100, why are you talking to her? You got 7 zone partners. They're all men. Why are you hanging out? Why are you with the female? Why are you doing this? So it's like the man catches that side of it, that why are you with that one female on the shift, where the female can be not see another chick for fucking 10 shifts and only work near dudes, and it's just the nature of the job.
It is the nature of the job, because immediately the woman's going to think that you're specifically hanging out with that female when you have 20 other males to hang out with.
Correct. Yeah.
And then the female cop's gonna go, oh, what? Because of your wife, and you're gonna be like, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
No, you're not.
Well, I mean, in
You're
your head
not, because that's like saying like, no, I would hang out with you if it wasn't for my stupid wife.
Oh yeah, I see. What you're
So
saying.
let's be
But
careful
you also
there.
have to walk the fine line of not making your wife out to be a psychopath to everybody as
No,
well.
everybody needs to know we're psychos.
You
Wrong.
you all want everybody to know, but you don't want us telling people that. They just need to know. If I walk around going, my wife's a
Fair,
psychopath, please
fair.
don't talk to me.
Fair.
She's going to be like, why are you telling them? But at the same time, I know that.
I'm okay with him telling everybody that I'm a psychopath. I'm actually quite okay with that.
not a psychopath.
But I'm not. I'm really not that. I have to deal with a lot of bullshit with him. And
What's that supposed to mean?
I mean, you're on a like Antihero used to have a lot of fangirls.
Oh, we have more fanboys than fangirls.
There was
Yeah,
a couple.
for sure.
There was a couple.
Yeah,
They faded them- they phased themselves out.
Girls compared to the 4 million men.
Okay, that's 4 more than most wives have to deal with.
But
okay.
any time that the following gets, and I did it as Copville. When I started out, that was one of the big things with my wife was like, you're not going to be chit-chatting in your DMs with female. And I was like.
Which he didn't. Let me make that clear.
92% male following, I think, if you look at my statistics. But as I got bigger and the page grew, definitely more and more females start chiming in with their little joke. I ignore it. I don't respond. If the worst case, I'd be like, yep, thanks for tap, liked it, tap, and move on. But it's by nature, as you grow, just that status of growth.
Even
more
in the
people
apparel company. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
They'll like repost them wearing their shirt and tag him in it.
That's a tough one.
That's a hard one.
It is.
And
a
that's
hard
fine.
one to
And,
navigate.
and that's
It's a
what I'm
tough
saying.
one.
And that's what I'm saying I deal with
I think
and I had to be okay with and
if
secure
you
enough with.
Go
but-
about it the right way. If you're so let's say a female buying something and then post, because there's different avenues, right? They can buy it themselves, no contact with me other than I ship it to them. They post it, they tag the company, that's fine.
Yeah.
Girls saying, hey, I took a picture of me in this shirt, sending it to the DMs, that's where it changes the dynamic of the situation.
I agree.
Not saying it's totally bad, but that's different.
It's a little different. Yes.
And
Because
then-
at least the share is public. Everybody sees
Yeah.
it, and you're just resharing an intended public post. Whereas then it would leave the mind open if she sent you this picture.
Yeah.
Has there been others? Is there other pictures where there's less? of
Luckily,
that
I run that. I
less
run
of
that page. I
less
took
of
that over
clothing
real
on.
quick.
So
Really, nobody ever did that though.
No.
Nobody was like,
But it'd be
I mean,
different if a
before
chick-
I took it over,
it'd be
like,
different
years
if a
ago.
chick did it
it wasn't.
and
awful,
a dude
though.
did it. If a dude did it, you wouldn't care. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. It's not bad. I'm not.
Obviously, why are we trying to make
But it's
men
a
and women
weird-
equal right now?
but it's a weird dynamic. Like
If a man did it, that's not weird at all.
my wife, her second job is with a gun company, and it's primarily all men, all male students, and then men take pictures at the event, repost it. She's in the picture with this guy. So it definitely takes that little bit of like it separating the business from personal. Like, hey, I understand this is your side gig. You can't, just same as I can't.
Yeah.
You just can't dive out of the way every time there's a camera and go, sorry, sir. Like you paid $800 for this class, but you can't post that picture. So it takes, and it's a maturity thing. But this,
Yeah.
I think this generation, you guys are still older, like, but this younger generation is. There's so much fucking shenanigans going on in DMs.
Yeah,
and apps
there's
that,
a difference too. Like if he were to post a picture of him wearing the apparel, because we post all of us in it, and then the heart eyes start coming and the flames start coming, like
Boy, those
from
emojis
females.
ruined life,
Those
didn't they?
emojis
One
ruin
little fucking-
lives.
One little emoji changes
Just
the world.
fucking changes the
Everything.
Changes the whole dynamic of a post.
A hard eyes. It's almost as bad as like sitting on a married man's lap.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean,
Jamal, help me out, Jamal, help me out, Jamal.
no, am I wrong?
Yeah, that's probably not a good idea.
Okay,
Especially if your wife doesn't react. It's a really
If your wife
stressful-
doesn't
Dude, he
react-
was fucked up all
if
night.
your wife doesn't react, it's because they're internalizing. Am I gonna fucking lose my shit on the person, or am I gonna lose my shit on my husband, who really hasn't done anything wrong because he was ambushed?
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's a
I
good-
like
I
how
like-
they when they had their meeting of women.
Oh, we're
came
now
out
getting
not- you came
specific.
out
I
not
was trying to
guilty.
keep it vague.
You
But
came out not guilty.
Here's what's funny.
You came out not guilty.
My wife is excellent about. She's mature, not the jealousy. But there was a time when I would have been beheaded at the scene. And
Well, you have to
that's
build
because
that,
of
yeah.
her past, and
brulee
nothing
would have been blown
stuff that
up.
happened to her that shouldn't have, and
Right.
guys were pieces of shit. So, but there was a time when that's what I was so stressed about is like going back to years and years ago, like this ain't good. Whereas when it was handled very maturely by her and very professionally, but I had the childish old reaction of I got to be dead at this point, like.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. So that was a fault of my own by probably over worrying about something that really wasn't an issue of mine. It was being handled separately.
Right.
So
I did that once. I knew it. I had a photo shoot. Heather wasn't in town. And I was like, there's a photo shoot full of like probably 6 people. And there was a female there that was brought that I didn't know. They were like, oh, she'll look great wearing your shirt. We did the photo shoot, and I'm like, there's just something about this female.
Yep.
And it wasn't, trust me.
And there was
not
other
because she
females there,
looked
too.
great.
And I was like, I'm telling you. And I called her and told her, she goes, well, it's alarming that you're saying this. I'm like, but I know. And then she saw.
Because I took it as like, are you saying that she's like, I should be like, oh, that's the one. And it wasn't. Let's just be clear.
See,
I wasn't
that's
concerned
tough
at
for
all.
men because
I was like, I knew it was going to be a problem.
It was her aura. It was her attitude.
If you
it was
say
the
you're
way.
worried about a certain female, your wife automatically thinks you think she's hot.
Yeah,
right.
Because if she was ugly, you wouldn't even be telling me about this. But if you're telling me about her,
right.
it must be because you think she's good looking.
And that's what I said. And his argument,
so there's no win.
His argument was, no, I don't. She's trashy as fuck. But he was like, it's her vibe, which I get. And I saw her vibe was like, I'm an OnlyFans model, and
then whenever you see that vibe, like no matter where we are, she's around, I'm like, go stand in the corner, like get away,
get
from
out.
Right.
Yeah,
so then what he did,
like,
so then
no room for that.
So then what he did is he went ahead and featured her mostly in the post that he made.
That's biased opinion.
No, it's
featured her mostly
biased.
in the post.
So here's everybody else. Here's like beep, everybody else beep, and then her.
A little longer, right? A little longer, like extra few seconds.
It's so bullshit.
Okay. So then I'm like, and he's like, it's because you're looking for it. It's because you're looking for it.
Yeah, it's like if you're looking for a red car, you see all red cars, right?
Yeah.
If you're looking for the broad, you're going to see the broad.
Absolutely fucking not. So then I'm like, okay, he's trying to like, he's thinking other people are going to be like, oh, okay, cool. She's so cool with this girl modeling. And then there was like 2 comments that were like, oh, I should have been there. Ha ha ha. Very funny, very cool, very not cool at all. And then that was it. It went like dark. So I'm like, okay, I don't think that got the reaction it thought it was going to get, but he did definitely not make a video like that again. I don't even think I think there was maybe like 2 more posts with her and somebody else in it at the same time.
It's just if you have your female counterpart liaison there, she can just make sure, no, we're not doing this. No, we're not doing it. And then you don't have to run into it. But like I said, the photo shoot happened when she wasn't in town. So it was all like.
Which that sounds real shady. So like make that really not as shady. Like his dad's there. His kids are there. Like our middle son's there. Like it was
my take on it is if we are, and it goes both ways. I'm not just tagging women on this. Men are the same way. If I know you, the way we have a relationship, if my wife falls asleep like next to you on the couch, I'm not worried about it. But if I don't know the dude,
no, he's not. No,
he's automatically a piece of garbage. That's how I look at it.
Okay, I said if the tides were turned, I said, well, I have an apparel line and I want one of these buff, muscular, tattooed dudes there. No, he's like, I'd be fine with it. And I was like, yes, you said that.
Oh, if you were trying to sell apparel.
Yeah. All of a sudden, nobody's going to be fine with that.
But if you know
they're shirtless.
No.
And I was like, they're shirtless, and I'm like, it's for my company. And he's like, men and women are different. It'll never be the same. Doesn't matter. I can do things that you can't do.
Wait, did I say I was okay with it, or say they're different?
Yeah. You said you were. You.
Yeah. You see what she did there? You motherfucking gaslighting asshole.
No, I'm not.
She just said I had 2 opinions based off her argument. She said.
No, you're saying it's different that you wouldn't be okay with it. Like it's okay for me.
You said
it's
at
not
the
okay.
time.
No, you're saying it's not okay for me to be okay with it or not okay with it, but you can be not okay with it. Does that make sense?
No. I think he was saying you kind of credited him and then just turned the tables and stabbed him.
I mean, because this is a touchy subject.
I know, and you guys are married, so I don't have to worry about my wife sitting, but I know how I get because she was in.
Would you be jealous?
Yes. And I'll tell you an example how I was jealous.
Yeah.
Picture at the SIG. Picture of her. Then one time there's like a dude who fights MMA, and they end up in a picture together, and I'm like, who's that? Like, why you in a picture?
I
of him?
think Instinctual,
and he's completely harmless, good dude. But because I
Mind
didn't know him, and he's looks
I would
different
die
than all
if
the
there
other
were pictures
guys
of them together.
because he looks good and he's a good-looking dude. Immediately I became jealous. All the other pictures, I didn't care. It was older.
Oh,
dudes,
of other
this guy.
men, yeah.
But that one dude.
But it's all-
I think that's what it is. It's your, and sometimes it's your or my perception of that
That's
other person
fair.
that
That's
draws
fair.
the jealousy.
That's fair. So what I did is I went back and reevaluated the video and decided
I bet
to
you
say,
did. I bet it's
so
frame by
time on
frame.
this
So I
topic.
said, okay, maybe that's true. Because he brought that up. Because, I mean, it's weird that both men are saying the same exact explanation. But so I reevaluated the video and I was like, okay, let me see how many times like the other girl that's there is in it or like the other guys. And I was like, still not even holding a candle to how many this
But that
trashy broad is in.
You got to look at, is the trashy broad going to push herself into the spotlight and camera more than the
100%.
other person?
100% did. And fine point, Mike, to make for
Yeah.
defending
Yeah.
Tyler over here.
I didn't even know he's
but,
here.
yeah. But yes, that's a good point because he said that. He's like, she was taking the spotlight. Everything had to be on her. She was talking. If anybody else was talking.
I did say that, right? That's
you
why
did.
I
No,
knew. I knew it
you
was a big
did say
problem.
that. But in my eyes, I'm like, he's setting up for explaining why she's the star of the show.
Because well, you know, I'm guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah.
That's just
Oh, we
the
all
court
are.
of love.
Duh. What the fuck? Of course you are.
But
All right.
I can understand that.
I don't. Yeah. What? Can we move forward?
We are. So
'Cause
we're
this is
going
a
into
this is
going into the topic of the episode, which is like females. What is the ideal?
okay.
What is the ideal woman? Right. The reason why your podcast to me idea.
That's the topic of the episode.
Yeah, your podcast kind of like I was like, okay, I can get behind this. Actually, the more I thought about it, was because you're the anti-feminist feminist podcast,
Right.
So you're
Which Mike immediately, as soon as I gave him the idea, I was like, you know, there's also the perspective of like being the wife of a cop. He's like, hate it, horrible idea, worst idea I've ever heard in my life. My wife is not to be on the podcast, and I was like, can you hold on a second?
Where was that at?
That was at
you're
that was at the
you're
live.
being made up in
That was
fictional
Jersey
stories
City?
too.
Yeah, no, I did. I don't remember anything.
That was
from
at the live, and it was
conversation.
after the live.
Yeah,
so at that point,
yeah, I got pictures.
you
of
and
my
Tyler may
with
not
my-
even known where the fuck you
no,
were.
I
fine.
got pictures from Kenny with my shirt off, and I didn't even know my shirt was. I didn't even know I took my shirt off.
Tyler says I was
No,
fine.
he's not
I'm
fine.
I was fine.
fucking dead.
No, she can go on.
So, anyways, and I was like, hold on, let me explain, because JoJo, your wife, was trying to explain too. Like, no, hold on, take a step back, just take
I
a
don't
breath.
remember, so it makes more sense now.
And I was like, no, it's to actually have the opposite
Yeah.
explanation of being a cop wife and it not being your identity. Just like, you know, saying I'm a wife, I'm his wife. I'm not a cop wife.
Correct.
I'm the wife
Well, I trash
of
cop
a
wives.
police officer. That happens to be his career, which
Yeah.
I'm proud of and I stand behind and I support, but I am not just the wife of a cop.
Well, anybody who talks to you for about 11 seconds can figure you're not just the wife of a cop. So I
Thank
think
you.
you're going to do very
I think
good.
that's a compliment
It is.
because
No, I think you're going to you have your own personality.
I
It's not
haven't
like you're
changed
hiding.
my Instagram to like Mama Hev cop wife.
That's
23.
the thing, apparently. But that I think that evolved from the military. Like, you know,
Or
who my
Blue
spouse
Line
is.
wife.
But that's,
or-
but that,
I'm an
you
E7
were
'cause
probably
I
a
married
long
one.
time ago before it became an entire identity crisis.
It's
on
not my
Instagram.
identity, but
crisis.
it's
Yeah.
not to say, because he's like, well, like it could come off like you're not proud of that, but I am proud of that. I'm very proud of that.
But for different reasons.
But
than
right,
these other
I'm
chicks.
proud. Yes, I'm not.
Well, there's
Like,
a
I'm a
difference-
mom,
There's a
I'm
difference before the
Run
crisis
all these
happened.
businesses with him.
Before the crisis happened, cop wives used to. This is don't. I mean, you can laugh, but this is dead serious. My wife, because my dad was 15 years in, she was my wife. Jesus Christ.
Eesh.
My mom kind of ran like a where new cop wives came in, and she's like, "This is what to expect." Like
But
you.
that back then, it's understandable.
But it wasn't like I'm on social media the cop wife. It's like, hey, you're entering this sphere of a profession with your husband. These are going to be all the weird things that they don't tell you.
Yeah, think about if somebody sat down and said your husband's going to have to interact with women.
Yeah.
Like he's going to have his own partner at some point. It's a woman or a female.
No.
But I mean, if you've been with me for a while, if a new couple got married and he just became a cop or she was just new to it, you'd be able to give her some advice.
That's the difference. Is I think that having a community to support wives that can understand what it's like to wonder if your husband's going to come home after work every day is different than being like making a meme that says, I've been solo parenting all day, and this motherfucker decides to get OT, and this is my life. I'm like, whoa, are you a victim here? I'm confused.
When he walks in the door, like, he's got a taser, he's got a gun. Look at it, turn around, honey, and she's like recording, like, taking him to his car. Look at his radar unit.
If you know, you know. If you know, you know. And I'm like, I'm all for like supporting other wives of police officers.
That's productive.
But as like me and JoJo were talking about, like your wife, that he's like, a police officer is not the only career that works 12 hours, that works 15 hours, that works odd hours. Like there's, there's like people that work on the freeways that are also risking their lives. And by no means am I comparing it, because it is very different. But they're worried, like they could literally be hit by a car at any moment, and they're working from midnight till 6 a.m. So it's like similar things, like you're sleeping and wondering, am I going to wake up and get that phone call?
The people that understand that, though, I think are your best cops and your best support to support the cops, because the people who put so much pity into the fact that they chose a job, it's like, you fucking did it. Now, I'm not saying just, you did it, go fucking, be crazy and lose your life, but you fucking chose. You knew you were going to work holidays, and your wife married you, knowing that
that's
you were.
What's shocking is when they're like,
you did it. So you knew that going into it, and I think the guys that understand that are your better cops, your better wives, your better people, because they're like, okay, fuck it. Like everybody.
I just know that I'm going to get hate for that, because their community is like such a tight knit community. Like they make a post and there's thousands of comments that
You're
are like,
blocked from most of them.
I've gotten blocked. I'm not going to lie, because I said, oh my gosh, I can't imagine having my husband's job be my identity, and they block me. He's been blocked too, so don't let.
No, I'm blocked plenty.
But I don't want it to be insulting. I want it to be more like, you are a person, you are your own person, but you should support your husband and other wives that don't understand this lifestyle. And it's not just about working 12-hour shifts, is my point. Being a cop is a lot more than working 12-hour shifts, and in fact, that's an insult to your husband. And to complain constantly about taking care of your children while you stay at home, and I mean, I've done it before, but for the most part, I'm not going to post online constantly about how awful it is that my husband's at work and I'm taking care of my children, staying home and making dinner. That's what they do. I'm like, how does your husband feel when he comes home after like going to like 3 dead body calls and sees his wife like being like, oh, I've been taking care of the kids all day.
They're usually cuck males anyway. They're not normal dudes. They're not good. Like, that would never last. A wife with a real cop, the dude that actually does a job and enjoys it, fucking goes, he would never last in that environment, because that would drive him crazier than seeing 3 dead bodies.
That makes sense.
Coming home,
I'm like, how do
coming home to that
husbands...
bullshit would drive him fucking off the wall. So
that's what I asked Tyler. I was like, is it because they're making money off their social media? Like maybe the husbands are just like, I'm just going to ignore what she says.
Beta males.
It'd be so embarrassing. You'd be like, babe, what the fuck are you doing?
But
Take me off that
They're
shit.
not going to. You would. I would. But a beta male fucking cuck is not going to say anything. He's whooped. He's probably not a great cop. He's probably a beta on the streets. He's a beta at the house. The wife runs a relationship and basically says, you're going to be my content. And every time you come home, I'm going to talk about you.
Her husband's career is her content.
Correct. And
which
then
is
you're going to deal with it.
Crazy. And I think that's what you thought the podcast was kind of be like, as an angle of like a cop wife, like, hubby worked 12 hours and did this, and this. And like, right. Okay. That makes more sense.
Knowing your personality, I don't expect it to be anything like that. But
no.
And you're good. It's fitting your counter culture, because that's going to be a very countered
mindset
approach to what people think and say. But it's the truth. It's just like any of these other guys like Jimmy Watson that are like saying those things. People don't want to hear that shit, but it's the fucking truth. People don't want to hear the truth, but what you're saying is the majority. The majority of cops and cop wives are more on.
Well, I think that's why me and your wife
get along. It's the small minority that have the Facebook pages
because
that
they don't mind looking like fucking fools.
They seem. Who is the small minority?
The loud women, the cop wives that identify with as being a wife.
Because going against it is like, you're not supporting your husband, you don't support what they do. And I'm like, actually, I feel like it's the opposite, because the complaining nonstop and saying like, oh, we can't even make plans for dinner because he's going to get OT, which by the way is not like a common everyday thing. Like his schedule is very set. So are like many law enforcement officers.
It's just a way to sound like
they make it sound like they are the victim.
That's happened.
And I'm like, your husband is the one that's making these sacrifices, not you.
And after a long day, can you imagine walking in your house like you fucking drained, and then you gotta beep 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 at the fucking door? There's fucking Bebop and Broad fucking video, and fucking you're like, God damn, I've been out sweating my ass off in a vest for fucking 12 hours, and now she's bebopping around after sitting around all day wanting to record me. Like, get in my fucking way. I want to have a fucking beer. I want to fucking lay down, relax, and you got this content creator at the
Yes.
and again, that has to be
We're all, ugh.
that has to be, that's the perfect storm. A beta male.
Because your life is real, hers is fake.
Correct.
Hers is projecting this fake world
Correct.
of being a police wife, and yours is the most raw, like seeing humans in the rawest form.
Yeah.
12 hours.
Where,
a day.
like I said, if they're talking about where I shut it off, personally, I shut it off because I know how to do that. But if they're going to talk about, let's support each other on like what it's like to literally be like, my husband could not come home. Like, that's just a reality of it because some fucking idiot decided that they were either going to think they're not going to go to jail or they just simply wanted to kill a cop. And it's like, that part I can relate to and understand. But if you're going to constantly complain about their job that they're doing that's harder for them to do, that's absolutely wild.
And here's
What
the
do you
funny thing.
mean?
I'm on both sides of it, so I've been both places. Now
Right.
I'm actually,
Which I really,
I'm a
really
cop
like.
wife. I'm a cop wife.
You're
now,
a cop
and
wife,
I
yeah.
know when she comes home, she wants to get stuff off her chest. Like if I was at the door waiting to, BB, baby, yo, you're home. What did you do today?
Do you have to do
She
the whole
punch-
give her 5-10 minutes?
She'll call me throughout the night, so it's not. But
okay.
there are times when she needs to dump it, and I understand, obviously from years of doing it, what she's going through. Like this happened, that happened. This guy sent an email. This idiot did this. This guy blew this report off. I have to deal with this complaint. So it's usually throughout the night. I kind of get the updates,
Yeah.
and then sometimes when she gets home, even in the morning when she's exhausted, I know she needs to get out 10 or 15 minutes of like, this is what happened. And what I talked about even in one of the last episodes was going from, like Reagan brought up, was solutions versus listening. I don't offer any solutions. I don't, at this point now, it's just, even
Which
if
I
I
do
think what
that.
she's saying is wrong, or maybe she'll have a clear mind about it tomorrow. We'll wait till tomorrow to talk about it. Right now, throw it all
Yeah.
at me,
Not a good
digest,
time
get it
for a
out,
solution.
and then we'll talk about it later when you bring it up again.
And
But
I do that. I offer solutions because I don't understand. See, you have the side of understanding what it's like. And that's the thing is a lot of times the cop wives almost try to relate to their husbands, was also I find insulting because I'm never going to say like, oh, I understand what you went through today.
Yeah.
Because I was taking care of the kids. Like I can bitch and complain about the kids being annoying and taking care of them, but I'm never going to say like, oh, I know what you went through today.
Well,
But they seem to think that they can somehow relate. And I don't understand. You can, which is unique.
Yeah.
But I can't say that I understand what he went through all day.
And sometimes you just want to bitch, like literally. Like
well,
things
here's
that
the
you just
thing:
want to
is
bitch
that
about stuff.
for me personally, I've been doing the job almost 10 years. You just kind of learn how to make it a job. I'm not even saying like, oh, I compartmentalize it. I think my mind like leaves it at work. And like you asked me, what'd you do at work today? I'm like a kid at school. I can't remember one call I went on because my mind, the stuff that we like are I would say argue, but like that now is this sphere when business deals, owning like problems with employees, problems with just everything, all of this. That's where like I need to bitch about it. And that's where she's talking about. Like, that's where I feel like the most when you're like, oh, well, then do this. I'm like, I can't.
You know what that makes me think is the importance of guys having some type of something outside of the police world, because this would be your hobby. This is your fishing. This is
that
your
would
golf.
be what we thought about.
This is your fishing. This is your golf. This is whatever your alternate thing is besides that job. When those dudes have no other life,
Yeah,
go to
that's a
work,
good
come
point.
home, go to work, come home. They don't do anything else. That stuff spins. You're able to go, fuck, I don't remember what happened 3 hours ago at work. I'm
Right.
here. I'm busy doing something else. So that's why I think it's important to do other things besides just be a cop, to have an outlet of something else going on.
You edit your wife's police wife material. There you go. That's your side gig. All right. So what's the ideal female then? Like what is it? Like
That's an actually insane question and really hard to answer.
Well, I mean, all right. So
My wife is
what's a anti-feminist
You're like,
feminist?
well, I mean, you know the answer.
What's
You're
an
like my wife.
what's an anti-feminist feminist? I'm not trying to like grasp onto that too much because I know you're not. That's not the like quote you're dying
Right,
on.
because we don't want it to be any one thing that we're about. Because somebody literally was like, "What's your podcast about?" And I was like, "That's the beauty of it, is it's not about anything. I mean, it's about different things and different topics, but we're not like a political podcast or a religious podcast. But we do talk about
It's a society and culture podcast.
society and culture.
That's where you would fall.
Yeah. Counterculture. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean that because I only say that because Apple and Spotify, they offer about like 20 topics, and like
really?
like sports.
You can see I don't know anything about.
Yeah, you would fall into would click
Podcasts.
society and culture and maybe comedy. You can pick up to 3 of them.
Am I funny?
Yeah, I think you guys would be pretty funny. Right?
God. No, I mean ideal woman. So when we say anti-feminist, what that means is, I mean, obviously we see feminists in this modern day and age, and I mean, we don't even know if they're a woman, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
a lot of men are feminists.
But with that being said, I mean,
Everybody
I guess you
supported
don't
Kamala
have to be
Harris.
male or female. But back in the day, it was like women were feminists, you know, burning their bras and stuff. Now it's a whole different ball
Women
game.
are so feminist that they're suppressing women now.
Right? They're
Instead
like,
of trying to get women ahead, they're
women.
actually
What does that mean?
suppressing
We can't say what a
women
woman
to
is.
be feminists.
What's a woman? I don't know. So that's where the anti-feminist part came in. It's not because we don't think women should have rights and women should have any kind of independence and women should be able to make decisions. But however, we don't believe that women don't need men. We believe that women 100% need men, and men are a huge, vital, crucial thing in society and culture and just the world in general. How can you say you don't need a man? How can you say men are not important? How can you say, quote unquote, I think Joy from The View said men are useless? What? How can you say that? How can you say that and then say that you're pro woman? There wouldn't even be human beings if it wasn't for men and women. So that's where the anti-feminist part comes in. But we think, like, my co-host is about to be 30 years old. She is single by choice. You know, she was in a long relationship that was very abusive and had to get out of. But she's not anti-man because she's single. She's like, people immediately think like, oh, you're like, I am woman, hear me roar, and I can be on my own. But she is on her own and she can do that. But she's not like, that's because, you know, I don't need a man. But doesn't mean she can't live on her own and like survive and, you know, pay her rent.
You don't need a man to the point where you got to find one to live.
Survive. Yeah. But
you can
they're very crucial. And the whole, I don't need men, men are useless, men are not important is.
Well, I have a question.
Gross.
So you brought to me for the first time I've ever heard this divine feminism. So do you feel like a woman cannot be a real woman without God? Because I could talk about like men all the time. I'm like, you cannot reach your potential as a man without submitting to the fact that whatever your religion is, you have to submit to God. Like God.
Oh yeah.
And
100%.
then everybody sees different ways, but like, you know, you're not a true man and then it opens you up to now becoming like a true alpha man. And is that the same for females?
Yes. It's the same for females. And I think that people get confused with the submitting to your husband or submitting to a man means that you're like a slave and that you need to be on your hands and knees and like bow down to them. And that's not actually what it means. It means that you submit as far as the constant combative nature of like, I need to be right. I need to fight this till I'm going to die on this hill, which I struggle with. Obviously, you know that.
Yeah.
I struggle with that. But at the end of the day, like, I'm going to submit to you in a way that shows that I respect you.
And I've noticed it too. Have you ever awkwardly won or it just ended and you're like, she stopped. Like I was going and you like recognize the fact that she submitted and just stopped because.
And for me, sometimes it's tough to see that because she is so alpha. And I had to learn to kind of pick up those things where sometimes because of just her nature of not aggressive, her nature of she's high strung like I am, she'll say things and I immediately like put up a defense. Yeah. And we're both kind of like that. And because we're both high strung and I have to learn and still learning, but getting better at learning that she is submitting, but it just sometimes because it doesn't sound like it. I have to.
That's
be
what I'm saying.
prepared
Like
for, like it's
the
loud
thought of submitting,
and
like yes,
it's
sir.
in your face.
It's not like that.
But she's also like, just let it go. It's okay. And it's sometimes it's hard to understand that.
To know your man's wrong, to know you know that he's wrong, but now he can't stop, and I want to laugh because it's very. I think it's a very, very strong characteristic to go. If I drive my man anymore, he's going to get even more mad. He's like, no one's going to win. I'm just going to essentially submit to not arguing anymore and then let him figure it out throughout the next 4 hours when he's sitting there like.
Well, they're not hearing you anymore. Like if a man or woman is like at the point of no return, they're just like, pissed off, fighting with you. Whatever you say at that point is not even going to register. Like even if it's a good point, a valid point, it's like you're like checked out. So there's times where, I kind of do that. And I mean, it's going to sound like I'm being manipulative, but later he's like, you were right. And I think that I could have seen it this way. And that's happened with me too, like vice versa. But if you're trying to do it in that heat of the moment, you're not getting through to anybody.
No, and what eventually happens is you start insulting. Like you find 100%. Something to happen. Now it's like, who cares what we're arguing 100%.
About? 100%.
Well,
I'm like, you're a fucking idiot.
Last week you did this, and then it's like, now we're fucking three years back arguing. Yeah. So I'm the one, honestly.
We're bringing the kids into it. We're like, that kid did that because he fucking you.
I'm the one that honestly, it's the opposite of my house. She's more like the man where I'm the one that needs to let it go more than the female normally would because I have that instant. I have to solve everything instantly. I have that it needs to be resolved right now. Where she's the one that needs to go sit and stare at the wall for like 45 minutes to an hour to bring it down.
But no matter the profession, that's the man in you.
Yeah, that's
we're going to solve problems for
and that's
our women.
That's one of the biggest problems is learning that once she's at a certain level of mad, even if it's not at me, once she's at a certain level of mad, it's going to take her an hour, 2 hours to bring it back down. Where I'm like mad and then 3 minutes later, I'm like, okay, let's go. Come on, let's hold hands and let's go. Everything's okay now. I can let things go quick. She needs more time, and probably because of everybody's past is different, everybody's history is different. She's better at compartmentalizing things, so I think she needs more time to
Do I need more time than you? I think I do.
At post fight, post argument, I got it from my dad. I can be fucking redlining mad. And then in 10 minutes, legitimately, not just letting it go because we need to make dinner, be like, what's for dinner? and be like,
I'm the same way.
What's your fucking problem? Like, why are you in a bad mood? And not even trying to gaslight you. That's just how I am. I get over things quick as far as once it's done, it's done. If there's nothing to be mad about anymore, I'm gifted.
I think I keep going, huh?
I don't know. I don't want to say that you maybe more than me, but you don't.
I think I go a little longer, or I need some kind of resolve. Like if it just ends,
we have to talk about it.
I can't just right be away. Like it ended. Even if I let it go, maybe the next day I'll be like, remember that time?
It'll come up again and again.
I'll be like yesterday. Even with the kids, I do it. Like I know one of those motherfuckers are lying to me, and I'm like. I'll sit there and I'm like, he even is like, just let it go. Everything's peaceful. Everybody, the kids are playing. And I'm like, no, dude, an hour ago, that kid said something that I did not sit right with me. And I cannot let it go.
You come from a self-proclaimed, jokingly, what do you call yourself? A toxica, right? You're from California.
I can be toxic.
And so I'm the one that has to tell her, hey, we're 40s and we have a house full of kids. Sometimes that thing that was cool when you were 22 and
but I'm also if I don't call them out on this, then when they do it again, who am I?
That's my wife to the T. And that comes with work.
And me and her have talked about that.
She says if somebody does something at work and she doesn't go tell them you fucking
me and her have talked about that. We can't even function for the fucking day. No. We can't even function. She's like, I can't. That's what I said to her. I messaged her because she's like, that's me. I can't especially if there's something unjust where I'm like, that did not sound right. She's like, I was like, I can't rest. She's like, never. I cannot rest until
3 days later she'll be wide awake. I can't. I got to deal with this.
Yes.
I got to take.
Yes. And he tells me let it go, and it makes me want to die.
Let it go anymore because once I know that she's at that point of it's
but then I'm
serious.
going to explode later. That's the problem is he said let it go. This happened yesterday. That's why I'm bringing this up. One of the kids said something and I was like, that story does not add up and I am not stupid. And he was like, it's not worth it type thing because now we're going to have a whole thing.
It's the long
I couldn't take it and I was
argument that it's not worth it. There's an argument for it. Not saying that you're gonna.
But I was like, I need this kid to know that that they lied.
Yeah.
I need them to know, and that is a fault of mine. Where I'm like, why do I need that person to know? I don't know. That's what. That's not toxic. That's not
No,
toxic.
I don't think that part is, because that's like I told you earlier, the story of my wife and I being like virtual enemies before.
Right.
She at some point sat me down and said, "You did this. You did this. You did this. You did. These are all the things you did to me over the last years when we didn't know each other well," and like made sure to tell me like, "I'm past it, but don't forget you did these things," and they always never sat well with me, and that just has carried on through. That's how she is. I'm talking about somebody parked wrong in the fucking parking lot. Like if she sees somebody parked wrong, she's like, that person needs to know they're fucking parked wrong. Like,
right.
They're fucked up. Like they need to know.
I used to be worse. I was like that for a very long time, where like I could not function if like I didn't like something like that, where I'm like, oh dude, they need to know. Now I'm better with that. It's like it's just localized to my close friends and
That's
family.
almost like being a cop,
ones.
though. That's like somebody speeding or running late.
Yeah.
Like you got to go tell them they did it. Like,
Right,
that's
and that
like
could come from-
That's like
yeah.
a mentality. Like that's what our job is. It's funny. That's what I mean. Is tell people you're fucked up.
Yeah,
Like, hey man,
yeah.
you're not supposed to be doing
Yeah.
that. But though she's like that, and it's.
But it bothers her like physically. Like she's like it. Like I
But
can't.
that's also not a
do
very.
it.
That's not a normal female trait either, which leads her down that road of having people think she's overly aggressive. When if a man does it, nobody's going to say a word. If I tell you, "Hey, you're fucked up, dude," most men are going to be like, "Oh, dude, this whatever." But when a female calls you out for something, it's taken differently.
So let's go back to divine feminine, which is not necessarily, because I have that too. And I think, like you said, maybe she's gone through certain things that I have. I'm not sure, because we clicked immediately. So there's something there.
I think you
But-
have a
Toxic.
common. You think you have a common.
Toxicity.
I think you both should be fucking careful,
No. I think you guys have a common.
because I'm going to make sure she watches this shit.
Common. I don't want to say enemy, but a common.
Type of enemy. Common type of.
At that time,
common
there was a
disagreement.
common like we
Thing.
both feel this way about certain things, and then it naturally you guys brought I don't know.
That's not how our click. No, we
It started
we
before
both
that, though.
said we
It started
clicked
before that.
naturally.
Yeah, it started
yes,
before that.
So
Yeah.
Tyler, shut up.
But it's a good topic.
We clicked naturally, and then
We're
we
gonna get Jamal on here.
No, what happened was stop. We clicked naturally, but then we bonded over that.
Okay, yeah.
That's different.
Yeah.
That's not what brought us together. We were like already like
That's
vibing.
the glue that held y'all
That's
together.
the glue.
Yeah.
The glue.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. I mean,
And you know what's
And
funny? is She's
Toxicity.
whatever it is. She is the most. She's one of those females that has this many. She has like one female friend, and now you're like number two.
I got very
she
lucky.
Has no female friends.
I got
See,
very lucky with
none.
my female friends. I have a ton of female friends but I'm talking friends that have been friends like. There's none that are under 10 years.
she's
But
None.
you're in a
None.
particularly sticky situation because all guys go don't get a girl that has that when she goes I have no female friends, that means she's fucking got dongs everywhere.
Well, first of all, I didn't know that, and second, going in, but she's not in any way.
Does she
ever
have dude
act-
friends?
No, but she's very so. She's
Like does she is she allowed to have dude friends because of her
She
work?
will not. She has acquaintances and she talks to guys, but she is, and it's male and female.
But is it different if you're laying in bed if a guy
It won't happen.
texts her?
She won't do
Doesn't
it.
do it?
No,
Okay.
she doesn't do
All
it.
right.
It's not like one of those chicks that goes, "Oh, but he's my friend."
it's my zone partner, he's my shift
She
mate.
will be. It'll be strictly.
Yeah, I mean, me and
she doesn't
him
chit-chat
have a
about
weird. We don't believe that you can be
meaningless stuff.
We don't have like male and female friends.
No, we don't either. But
Like,
it-
do
but-
I say I mean, some of my friends' husbands I've known for 15
Well,
years.
she always catches herself because she'll go, my friend, like you'll say a male friend, and I'll look, and then you'll go, and his wife. Because I'm like,
Right.
Here's the thing. When we got together, we both agreed that there's no reason, like guys don't have girlfriends. Because there's just no guy wants to hang out with a
all
fucking
the men I
girl.
thought were my friends. Tyler can tell you what happened, which was eventually they professed I've loved you for 4 years.
Yeah.
and I'm like, what the fuck?
On
Like
the
I'm
flip side,
talking
too,
no
Chicks are-
sexual,
chicks are
nothing
annoying,
happened.
Dude, so why would you want to
No,
have more female
guys
friends?
do not want female
They do not. They want to bang them.
And he's like, yeah, all the guys you thought were your friends, all were like, I've actually really truly been in love with you for many years.
And they were too beta to
And-
say it.
Right. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, so you weren't just
They were
my,
just
you
hoping-
weren't just being
They
nice.
were hoping that day came along that was like a porn movie where you decided to
Right.
like
It
seduce
never
them
happened. I
when
will
the-
tell you
when
right
the
now.
plumber came
Never
in and all that.
happened.
Like that's what they're waiting for.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no I agree. There's no reason to have, and I don't mean,
And I- when
I
I
don't mean
s-
acquaintances.
Right.
Like, you're
When
gonna
we
work
say
with
friend, we
people,
mean like just
but
you
two
and
guys,
them
a girl and a guy,
interacting.
like she doesn't
yeah.
need to be like, hey, I'm going to have drinks with Steve tomorrow.
Or they're
night.
chatting,
Like, because here's the
texting
thing.
and talking
Here's
all
the
day.
thing. If she's probably known people 20, 30, probably not 30 years, 20, 25 years over me, right? Guys that and known the couple since they were kids or in high school.
Oh, for sure.
I still think it's inappropriate for her to, not saying she does, but her to message that guy. I feel like if you have if there's a wife, that's fine. Like, I wouldn't go talk to another guy's wife. I would leave that. I would, to be honest with you, dude, unless we were planning your fucking birthday party or some shit, I do not. I feel it's instinctually wrong to text or message JoJo.
I agree.
Because I have her for that.
I agree.
And so, like,
I would just say, Joanna, can you ask Heather this? Can you, get with her about this? Or
right.
That? Like,
I'm telling you, people will disagree with this till they, like I said, they will die on that hill.
I guess that's anybody.
They will be like, no, I trust my husband. I trust my wife. And then we go back to, sitting on laps.
Everything's
it's
trust,
not about not trusting the other person.
There's also human nature that you
100%.
can't control under,
I'll tell you right now.
You don't put yourself in that situation.
I have had friends' husbands hit on me.
I'm sure.
None that I'm very close with, and no right now. I want to make that very clear. But in the past, in my lifetime, I have had friends' husbands that were like, they were my friend, and then their husband I didn't really know, but they've been like, they do the whole, oh, I've always thought you're so beautiful, or some gross,
ballsiest thing in the game.
And I'm like,
do that in front of me.
But that tells me that they have the balls to not be like, she's gonna tell my wife. They're like, I'm so fucking alpha and awesome that she's not even gonna tell my wife because. And back to other people where they think that they can talk about people and that person is not going to tell their friend or significant other. Who the fuck do you think you are?
And you're right, and that's the basis of a relationship. Because if I always felt like if some chick blasts on me and hits on me in my DM, if I don't go tell my wife about that, that's a problem.
What about one of her friends?
Yeah, for sure. For
that's
friends.
insane.
But I'm saying even like I could see ignoring, and if it's a complete stranger, just delete and block, like done with it. But if there's ever been any back and forth, and then all of a sudden you think like, okay, this is like business acquaintance or whatever it is, just a person. And then all of a sudden it turns into that. I honestly believe like there's an obligation to be like, hey, this fucking person's shady. I'm telling you they're shady. Like this, they tried to hit. And that's a tough conversation to have. I know it because there's automatic jealousy that's going to pop up either way. But I firmly believe
it's happened. Let me tell you.
I firmly believe you should tell your spouse about that kind of thing.
I had a friend's boyfriend. I don't know what he was. They were together for a long time. I think they're just boyfriend and girlfriend still. They never, sealed the deal. But he kind of like made a comment and then made a move. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And then another friend had said, oh, well, she's always thought his girlfriend has always thought that you liked him. What? It's going to be the girl's fault. Mm-hmm. That's just the nature of it. So if your girlfriend, if you get hit on by one of your girlfriends, speaking as a female, obviously, boyfriends or husbands, they're immediately going to be like, well, what'd you do?
What'd you do?
Did you bend over in front of him? Yeah. Did you give him the idea that, and I'm like, why would that be the case? Like, you didn't welcome it in any way, shape, or form, and the girl's immediately going to be like, what'd you do to make him think that you wanted him or that you were welcoming it?
That leads my mind down where I do feel for women is the sexual assault, sexual harassment side of things.
Oh, yeah.
Because anytime a woman comes out and says anything, it's always her fault.
What'd you do? You didn't say no. You must have been wearing something, sexy or provocative.
Hey, should have had a man with you.
You should have had a man with you.
I'm going to be the bad guy in this. Here's the thing. I feel for you. I really do. I feel bad, and it's awful. But if you're going to stand in an arena, you are subject to what's in that arena.
I agree.
Yeah.
So if you're going to go, I want to be a soldier. I want to be with all the men. I don't want to. And then it's so awful that they get raped over there. And in our bases overseas, there was an epidemic of women getting raped. And everybody hated my solution, which was don't allow women on those bases.
No, 100%. Why the fuck would you allow women? Never.
But that's not fair. So now we have to go and create all these solutions that are never going to work because it's primal. You get 1,000 dudes. 10% of those dudes are going to be real fucking assholes. They're going to be real awful people.
By nature.
And they're full of testosterone, probably on steroids over there. And now they haven't had sex. Now they're all becoming very primal. And you're going to throw women in there. It's like sheep to the slaughter. It's,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
And that's your unique circumstance. Over here, behave yourself. You're it's America. But there's no it's like putting a fucking gambler in the middle of a casino and being like, now don't gamble.
Yeah.
Right. But still, I do think that women, like I said, if I had then said, we're all out drinking. I don't know. I'm just using an example. But my friend's husband said, I think I should call it a night. And I go, well, let me give you a ride home. I'll give you a ride home. My friend's still having fun. Now I'm putting myself in a fucked situation that I do agree that if something happened, I am to blame, which I am sure will get hate from all sorts of women that I said that. But I'm putting myself in a situation knowing that a man's drunk, his judgment's skewed, and I'm going to go put myself alone with him. Somebody that knows me and is probably comfortable with me.
And a drunk dude is a drunk mind dude is going to automatically think that you volunteered. You want something.
Right.
Oh shit, she wants.
Yeah, she wants to take me home.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Men are always like, this is just the same with women. It goes both ways. If somebody's nice to somebody, it's an automatic like they must want me. Like if I'm going to offer to give a ride, they're like, okay, I'm in. That's just nature. I don't necessarily agree with that. Like I'm an idiot. Like I said, I had a bunch of dudes tell me they love me because I thought they were my friends. I've learned over the years that's not an option, and you can never be friends with a male, and I never will be. But if you're putting yourself in that situation, I will say you're welcoming it. I think that's gonna probably make people really angry, but I really do think that
it's the level of when you say put yourself in that situation, it's not working around men, it's the extra steps of like
and
doing the extra thing. It just doesn't by nature, man, woman.
And when
how do you feel about a male female personal trainer?
Bad.
Never works out well.
Bad.
I'll tell you that right now.
I've never had a personal trainer,
but
I actually had my license and trained women. My wife was, and I didn't behaved, but I could see that just when I met Joanna, and she's like, that ship sailed. Like we're not doing that anymore. And I agree. I agree because then I start thinking. At first, you're like, well, I know I'm loyal. I'm a good dude. And then she's like, okay, I'll go do it. I'll go train with fucking Johnny, big dude, steroid dude. And then you go, well, wait a second, maybe I don't like that idea. It's like, so you can't be so one sided. And then because if you really don't care if your wife's around that dude, do you really care about her? Because at some point, it's like
it's instinctual that you don't want another.
Well, I thought about doing because I've been in the bodybuilding world for 20 plus years, and I thought about doing like coaching or something online. And I had said to Tyler, we were like literally in our home gym, and because I'm working on like getting back into like the shape I want to be in, and he was like, I was like, but I wouldn't coach men, and he was like, it's okay, why? And I was like, nope. Not because I don't trust me or you wouldn't trust me, because it's like a personal relationship.
As soon as I saw it, as soon as I go, that guy does not need to be trained at all by my wife. He just likes to talk to my wife.
That's just another intimate setting.
Yeah. Like you're talking about what you eat. You're talking about what you did for that day. Like you are now, and again, trainers will die on this hill. It's totally professional. And I'm like,
because
bullshit.
The first time I go, the first time that the male or the female says, my fucking husband's a blah, 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 and then it's over.
Because you start talking.
You break that barrier.
It's like, what did you, now it becomes personal, and everything changes when if it stayed professional, which, again, it doesn't do.
It can't.
But if it did, that's fine, but that's
you know how it stays professional? You train me, Mike, because I don't want to fuck you.
Correct.
I have nothing inside of me that wants to procreate
never know.
with you.
Yes.
If Reagan was here, we'd have a different fucking conversation. But I will say this.
Unfortunately, now it's a fucked up world. There's just as many dykes out there trying to steal your wife as there is men now. So
that's true.
There's a real problem. There's a pandemic.
Epidemic.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's a pandemic.
Those studs, man. Them studs are out there.
But then again, it goes back to work. That's the same thing. Like you said, my wife doesn't hang out with people outside of work, like people that she works with.
Yeah,
it's all the same.
But here's the thing: we'll end it with this. When you do the right thing, you don't have to have any blurred lines or anything. And the reason why I say that is because you're very strong. You wear your beliefs on your sleeve. Everybody that meets you, including all my friends and all my business associates and everybody, they meet you. No one treads that line. Like I was just sitting here thinking,
right? No one's gonna be like, I'm gonna hit on her.
Would she ever say like, hey, one of your podcast buddies that your best friends when you have money ties in just fucking hit on me? Would you tell me that? Like, I know you would, but then I was like, you don't even have to go that route when you wear everything on your sleeve. Everybody knows that's a loyal bitch. That's his girl, and
We've talked about that on Instagram. Like, you see a guy post like a picture of their girlfriend, whether they're like hot or not. That's beside the point. And then all these guys are like, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. She's so this, she's so that. And then you see some guys post like a absolute smoke show and they get no comments. No guys are commenting. They're not like, she's beautiful, because they know that relationship is so like strong. Like they're not even going to disrespect that dude. They're not going to disrespect her. That's what I'm saying. It's so different. Like where like certain men can post their woman and they know that like the men know that they could be like, oh, look at those fucking tits, look at that chick, she's so hot, oh da 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 da, because they don't have any respect for that dude, and they know the dude doesn't respect that chick.
Yeah,
period. Like
it's a little different in our world in the sense that like we're trying to be in the public eye.
The other curveball though is our own perception. If I wore a body cam or you wore a body cam all day and did everything right, and I'm guilty of this, I would still be insecure about some things other people said to you, even if you handled it correctly.
Yeah.
There's that whole other weird dynamic. It can just like the comment, like my wife has almost 10,000, 8,000, 9,000 followers. There's always one or two dudes, you're hot or looking fine. There's some fucking jackadoo behind it, like not even concerned. But there's always that guy. Now imagine if she's wearing a body cam all day and some dude, the intentions based on male.
I joke about it, right? I never handle a situation right.
And I wouldn't
and
either.
I can't.
I know
it's
I
impossible because
I know I wouldn't.
That's
but
what I jokingly say.
Everything right.
I jokingly say,
like,
how do I handle this? How do I do it?
I'm
going to fuck it up.
I'm going to kill him. But it's like, but she didn't do anything wrong. Well, it's not you, it's him. But then it projects back to you because, like you just said about the whole projection back, because even though you handled it correctly, it's, well, why'd you go to the bank? Why did you go to the store?
Right.
Why were you there? Why'd you stand there so long? Why didn't you? And that is our own insecurities kicking in because you did nothing wrong, but I still am like over analyzing every movement, everything you said, everything. So that's an ugly topic there, especially in law enforcement with the male woman dynamic. It is, and I will say for the chicks that aren't trying to bang everybody, I feel bad for like they're trying to fit in or they're trying to be one of the guys, and no wife is going to want to fucking ever hear that. And I'm not saying they even should hear it, but there are some chicks that just want to go to work and do the job, and they are going to always be at the severe disadvantage of society and what has happened and what's going to continue to happen.
Men have failed women.
Yes.
Over the last 60, 70 years. Like we as a gender have failed women to the point where now women are best case scenario joining male dominated professions. Like that's best case. You got this whole OnlyFans epidemic, right? And that is men's fault. Yeah, going on those podcasts now and just fucking degrading them into pieces of shit because they're 22-year-old fucking whores. Like you're doing society a good thing by shedding light on it.
22-year-old whores. I mean,
you're not doing them any good. They're done. Like they're fucking toast. The only thing you can do is a couple guys have gone on there and said, I pray for you and I hope you find salvation.
Right.
And they're speechless. They're like,
because that's opening a door from like porn, which is a problem, to now it's like real. Like it takes the video.
Real people are doing it.
VHS tape you found in your dad's drawer is now a chick you can pay $100 to, and she'll stick a carrot in her ass.
You knew at one point.
Yeah, whatever she wants to do.
Well, we're going to touch on that a lot.
It's taken that male brain that are already fucked up people, and it's just twisted and pulled, and now it's a
and when men talk about it, for some reason, it's not as big of a deal, but like that's something we want to talk, like we're going to touch on that on our podcast a lot, is OnlyFans, which we consider to be the modern day prostitution and virtual prostitution. We call it virtual prostitution.
There used to be cam girls before that, and cam girls were always considered prostitutes, like glass prostitutes, like like Europe, where they have girls that
virtual prostitutes.
If OnlyFans doesn't show you how fucked up men are.
Well, here's the thing with OnlyFans:
chicks are making $50 million a year after taxes from dudes sending them money that'll never touch them. How fucked up are we, dude? How fucked up are we?
It's pretty fucked up.
Think about that.
It's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and especially when they're like famous. They're like celebrities. It's like you're really never gonna fucking be near probably within 100 feet of them
Becky
in your
from
life.
Down the trailer park. You're never gonna see the girl down the road from the trailer park.
Well, and then that brings up another point. You said $50 million. 90% of the women that are on OnlyFans are not making $50 million.
No.
They actually say
they sold out.
They're like making $500 if that. Like
now they're pussies on the fucking internet.
Yeah. So you're like thinking you're seeing celebrities who are celebrities, obviously. obviously people there's going to be people that just want to just to be like, holy shit, like that person's.
But as easy as it is for us to get into the social media, like get popular on Copville, get popular on Antihero or whatever, there are plenty of chicks making decent money because all it takes is that little bit of following, and then it takes...
they're making a fraction of our following compared to theirs. They're making fucking 20 million times more than we are.
Yes, as far as money goes, but 88%, which is a high number, and that is a factual statistic, 88% of OnlyFans models are not making that much money. So that's a high number.
They're bad at branding.
I mean, yeah.
88% of podcasts go nowhere because what's going to separate you from the other podcasts?
That's what I'm saying. The market is oversaturated with whores. The whore market has become oversaturated.
And here's the thing. This is why your podcast is going to blow, because there's no other podcasts, not blow dudes, but blow up. Okay. Is that there's no other podcasts like, you thought I said blow like suck?
Yeah,
I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
It's gonna fucking blow up because you're branded very well, and there's no other podcast. But it's a fucking counterculture thought that everyone thinks. Right. There's too many fucking whores. There's too many dumbass chick podcasts that talk about and laugh about being whores, and it's okay to be whores, and it's okay to like. You're now like. It would be gross if like dudes look at other dudes on podcasts and go, oh, we fucked all these chicks. Like a grown, mature dude is gonna be like, this is fucking retarded.
Like you're not cool because of that.
And so it's
really not hard to fuck people. Let's be real. Let's just say it. Call it what it is. It's not hard to do that. At the end of the day, anybody can go to a bar and find. It doesn't even have to be somebody good looking. And if you're gonna be like acting that way, you're gonna find somebody to fuck. Like that's not hard to do, male or female. That is not hard to do.
Technology apps, you don't have to fucking...
It's not hard to do. So that should not be something you're proud of.
You'd be a fucking moron.
Like, where did that become prideful and something that you're like feel accomplished? Like the bitch that just fucked 100 dudes and was like, I just accomplished something, which we're going to talk about again on my podcast. So you have now called that an accomplishment, and maybe you're right. Men failed women because that is an accomplishment. Yep. You blew your fucking hole out and it's probably like just completely fucking destroyed, and you're calling that an accomplishment.
Like I see a whale.
Like a fucking
blowhole. You blew your hole out. Like a fucking
like
whale.
Literally
like a pink sock.
Just a fucking just flapping in the wind, and that's an accomplishment. And her goal is to do more. I want to do 200 next time. And then she came on and decided to talk about how mentally draining that was and how hard that was for her. Nobody said you had to do this.
Yeah. Those people are fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, that's
and then there's dudes really lining up with masks on so they cover their identity. Motherfucker, take that mask off. If you're going to do this, disgusting. You better show everybody who the fuck you are. You're probably like a CEO of some fucking company that you don't want to be seen.
Or a father of 3 happily married.
Right. Or a firefighter, or Reagan was there. I don't know. Like,
fucking, he ain't here. Let him have it.
We are Counterculture 8. How's everybody doing tonight?